story of Sarah and Prophet Ibrahim, AS, according to Islam. All the references are mentioned in the description. A noble beginning Sarah was a noble and righteous woman. She was the first wife of Prophet Ibrahim, Abraham alayhi salam, one of the greatest prophets in Islam and known as Khalilullah, the friend of Allah. Sarah was known not only for her beauty, but also for her deep faith and unwavering support for her husband's mission. She believed in one God and stood by Ibrahim, AS, as he preached the message of Tawheed, monotheism, in a land full of idol worshippers. Leaving their homeland for the sake of Allah, when the people of Iraq rejected Ibrahim, AS', call to worship Allah alone and even attempted to kill him by throwing him into a fire, Allah saved him miraculously. After that, Allah commanded him to leave his homeland. Sarah and Ibrahim, AS, set out on a journey for the sake of Allah. They traveled through lands that are today known as Syria, Palestine, and eventually Egypt. This was not an easy migration. They left behind their homes, wealth, and families, all for the pleasure of Allah. The incident with the tyrant king, Pharaoh. One of the most well-known events in Sarah's life occurred during their stay in Egypt. At that time, Egypt was ruled by a tyrant king or Pharaoh who was known for his evil habit. Whenever he heard of a beautiful woman entering his land, he would try to take her by force, especially if she was married. When Ibrahim, AS, and Sarah entered Egypt, news of Sarah's beauty reached the Pharaoh. His guards informed him, and she was summoned to his palace. Before she was taken, Ibrahim, AS, made dua to Allah and instructed Sarah, "If they ask about me, say that I am your brother. For in Islam, you are my sister in faith, and they are a people who do not know the truth." Sarah was taken into the Pharaoh's court, and when he tried to approach her, she immediately turned to Allah in sincere dua. She asked Allah to protect her from the evil of this man. At that moment, the Pharaoh suddenly became paralyzed. He panicked and begged her to pray to her Lord to remove his affliction, and he promised not to harm her. Sarah prayed, and Allah healed him. But then he tried to approach her a second time, and once again he was struck with the same paralysis. Terrified, he pleaded again, and she prayed for him a second time. When he tried a third time, the same thing happened, and now he was fully convinced that this woman was under divine protection. He stopped his attempts, humbled himself, and told his guards, "You have brought me a devil, not a woman." Out of fear and respect, he let her go. But not only that, he gifted her a righteous servant woman named Hagar. This was a turning point in Sarah's life. The deep desire for a child. Sarah and Ibrahim, AS, were married for many years, but they remained childless. Both of them had grown very old, and Sarah had accepted that she might never become a mother. However, she deeply loved Ibrahim, AS, and wished for him to have offspring. Out of love and selflessness, she suggested that Ibrahim, AS, marry Hajar, her servant, so that he could have a child. From this marriage, Ishmael, alayhi salam, was born, who would later become a great prophet and the forefather of the Prophet Muhammad. The angels and the glad tidings. Years later, 3 angels came to visit Ibrahim, AS, in human form. They were actually Jibril, Mikael, and Israfil, sent by Allah. Ibrahim, AS, welcomed them with kindness and prepared a roasted calf for them to eat. But he noticed they didn't touch the food. This made him fearful, but then they revealed their true identities and gave him 2 pieces of news. They had come to destroy the people of Lot, alayhi salam, who had indulged in extreme wickedness. They gave glad tidings. "We give you good news of a knowledgeable boy." Surah Al-Hijr 1553. Sarah was standing nearby and heard the news. She was so shocked that she laughed in amazement and disbelief, as she was far beyond childbearing age. She said, "Woe to me! Shall I bear a child now that I am an old woman, and this my husband is an old man?" Hud 11:72. The angels replied, "Do you marvel at Allah's command? The mercy and blessings of Allah are upon you, O people of the house." Hud 11:73. And so Sarah became pregnant in her old age and gave birth to a son, Ishaq, Isaac alayhi salam, who would grow up to become a prophet. And Allah even informed them that Ishaq's son would also be a prophet, Yaqub, Jacob alayhi salam. Sarah's legacy in Islam. Sarah lived a long, blessed life filled with trials and faith. She witnessed the birth of prophets and played a key role in the spiritual legacy of Islam. From her lineage came some of the greatest prophets in history, including Ishaq, A.S., Yaqub, A.S., Yusuf, A.S., Musa, A.S., Isa, A.S., and many more. Her story is one of patience, loyalty, wisdom, and complete trust in Allah's plan, even when life seemed hopeless. Lessons from Sarah's story: trust. Allah's timing. Sarah waited years for a child, and when it seemed impossible, Allah gave her Ishaq, A.S., faith in trials. She faced a tyrant king, but never wavered in her trust in Allah's protection. Selflessness in marriage. She showed generosity by encouraging her husband to marry Hajar so he could have a family. Allah can do the impossible. Her old age didn't stop Allah from granting her a child and making her the mother of nations.